You are now listening to
Random Ramblings with Rob. Random Ramblings with Rob. Yeah.
What up, everybody? This your boy B-Rob, and I'm back with another edition of the Random Ramblings with Rob podcast. First and foremost, I'd like to thank you, the listener, for coming back each and every week, or however you listen to podcasts. You might stack them all on top of each other, making sure you leave just maybe like quarter size spaces in between. So whenever you focus your chi and you hit it with a good palm thrust, that it'll break evenly and distribute all the force and everything all the way down to the bottom, to the earth. Yeah, that's right. Earth. E-R Earth. There you go. That's how you spell it. And I don't know where I was going with that analogy, but that's how you might listen to your podcast. You might stack them up, then you might break them all down into categories on comedy, mystery, sci-fi, whatever. I mean, podcasts kind of work like that. And if you are a new listener, I'd like to thank you for bearing with me through that horrible analogy and putting your ear holes on me for the first time. This week, as with every other week, I have a guest, unless it's some dire circumstance where I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel and I got to pull something out of my ass. But in this particular instance, I didn't have to do that. Took me about a year and a half to almost 2 years to get this person on the show, but they're finally here. And my guest this episode is Jeof Vita, host of the Kung Fu Drive-In podcast. How you doing, my friend?
Doing very well. I was legitimately afraid there for a second where you were going with the pulling something out of your ass for the podcast, because I'm pretty sure this is where we are right now.
No.
Yeah, I mean, you had Michael Jai White on. To go from Michael Jai White to me, it's not exactly a step up, brother.
Hey, man. we all here. We all good. This is all good, man. If Michael Jai White was like, hey, man, you either have me or you have freaking Jeof Vita, I've been like, might have to go with you, man. You my dude. We independent. We got to stick together.
Very true. Very cool. No, it's great to finally be on here. I know we have tried this several thousand times, but I'm a fan, and we're in a mutual admiration society, I think. So it's great to finally be able to talk with you.
Yeah, you's a busy man, because I can remember initially, like the very genesis of my invitation, you was coaching like some sport or some stuff. You're doing something with your kids or something like that, right?
I try to be an involved dad. So my girls are all involved in softball, soccer, and basketball, and I coach all three to be, part of their athletic development. So that's why I was so lost for a time there.
Are you a former athlete in any of those sports?
I am a former wannabe athlete.
I can understand it. I get what you're putting down.
Yeah. I did the sports in high school, nothing to any level where I was going to be considered for any kind of collegiate career. If I had stuck with track, maybe, but I just didn't. Once I left the high school walls, the other pleasures of college called to me a little bit more.
I totally understand that as well. So it's not enough for you to enjoy, your offspring and their off-duty activities and everything. You just got to be there running the activities as well. Yeah. So that's why. But now, a year and a half, whatever it is, 2 years later, here we are, and I'm excited to be able to find out what makes my boy B-Rob tick. Yeah, and vice versa. listening to your podcast. I think most recently, I don't know how recent it is because I kind of bounced back and forth through your catalog and everything. And I think you had the curator for the martial arts museum, correct? Not too long ago.
Michael Matsuda. Yes. Yeah, he was one of my last guests. He is the founder and president of the Martial Arts Museum in California. I haven't been able to visit that place yet, but now that I was able to talk to him, I'm more than eager to get out there and check out what goes on behind those walls.
Yeah, make your pilgrimage, do your Mecca.
Yes, absolutely. Come with me.
Yeah. Hey man, I'm trying to get everywhere, dude. I'm trying to get to New Jersey. I'm trying to get to Cali again. I'm trying to be a mover and a shaker like you.
Yeah, because I'm such a mover and shaker.
Yeah, like I said, it took damn near 2 years to get you out here.
You know why? Because you spend so much of your time at Walmart.
Yeah, that's true too. I mean, the time accumulated in Walmart could have been time you could have been podcasting.
Your Walmart episodes are always so much fun. I avoid Walmart at all costs, not because of the crazy people that supposedly populate it, but because it's just always so crowded and there's always too few people at the registers and the lines are ridiculously long. I don't have the patience to stand in line to pay for whatever knickknacks I picked up that day. So
self-checkout.
Yeah. And the self-checkout lines are longer than the regular lines because people don't know how to use the self-checkout system.
Yeah. The key is to either try to make it through the electronic section, the automotive section, or the garden section.
Right.
That's what I normally do because everybody at the front of the store getting all the fly shit. I just go to the back.
See that's a pro tip right there, everybody.
There you go. Ding. Pro tip. I should have like a little sound effect for that.
Work on that.
Yes, I know. I'll do it all in post. But what was interesting about the interview, something that I picked up on, unless I heard incorrectly, which I often do, you just started your own personal martial arts journey, correct?
I sure did. I am 46 years old. I am feeling every year of that 46 years. But it has been, let me think, 8 weeks now, maybe. I'm not sure exactly how long it's been now, but I did just start my martial arts journey. I started with two of my daughters, the two younger ones.
There you go. Can't let them have their own thing. You just got to have your hands all in it, right?
Yep. Well, yeah, I know. But now they, when I said that I was going to do it, they expressed some interest and they came to a class with me and I offered it. I said, do you want to do it too? They took the offer and now they're doing it with me. And we are all now proud orange belts in a system that is a hybrid system, based in karate, and there's eskrima in there and some judo and some BJJ. So, because of the podcast that I do and because of the people that I talk to, I was inspired to finally put my money where my mouth is and see what I could do.
Exactly. I mean, I can totally relate to that because, I mean, I'm a big professional wrestling fan and, just because I was a fan and I watched it for so many years, I looked at it, a certain way, but, actually getting in the ring and doing the work and, learning the process, I look at it a totally different way. I mean, I already respected them as athletes and performers and, for the thing that they did, but actually doing it myself, I found a whole new respect, just damn you in there getting judo tossed around and thrust kicked and everything. I'm in there getting clotheslined and drop kicked and suplexed and none of that shit feels great.
No. But it takes some real skill to really sell some of that stuff that those wrestlers do. So, kudos to you guys for putting your bodies on the line like that.
Yeah. That shit was not enjoyable. I mean,
but you did it.
Yeah, I did it. I mean, and it was one of those things. It was just like, I wanted to do that as a child. And, it never came to be per se, but you know, when the opportunity presented itself, I took it, and you know, I don't regret a bit of it.
No, nor should you. That's one of those things where when you're a kid, you say, one day I'm going to do that. You have the opportunity, take it, do it. Just to be able to say that you did it. When I was younger, I said that I wanted to run the New York Marathon.
Mm-hmm.
As I got older, I learned that I could not stand running. I hate it.
I hate it too.
I cannot deal with it. I do it to stay in shape, and I do it because I can do it. I have run one New York Marathon,
mm-hmm.
and I finished it. And at the end, I was hoping for some kind of epiphany to, you know, fully convert me into someone who loves running. The only thing that I experienced at the very end of that race was pain on top of pain on top of pain. And I'm glad I got it done.
Yeah. And what was like, that was a full marathon, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
What that was that 26 miles or something?
26.2 miles.
Yeah. I did a half marathon. So the 13.1. And,
yep.
You know, you had a dream, an aspiration to do the New York Marathon. I had not a dream, not an aspiration to do not a half marathon that I done. The only reason I did that shit because, you know, it was kind of like I don't know if it was ego, pride, or I don't know what the hell it was, but I was on deployment in Afghanistan, and they had this half marathon that was coming up. Now they had another individual there. We were the same in rank and everything, and he was just like not in shape. He was like a slob. I mean, I'm out there, you know, doing my little bit of running and everything, you know, keeping myself physically fit to the best of my ability and everything. And this out of shape, slovenly person was like, "I'm gonna go run the half marathon," and I was like, "Fuck." So I was like, if this motherfucker running a half marathon, I gotta run this half marathon, you know? And then, you know, that was the catalyst. That's what made me want to put feet to pavement and get this thing done. But after a while, you know, kind of prepping for it, getting ready for it, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this shit. I'm gonna kill this damn 13.1 mile run. No problem. Get in the blocks, pow, take off. First of all, when I knew this thing was gone awry, was like, the people weren't out there at their checkpoints fast enough. So we ran past the first checkpoint and didn't know it. So this 13.1 miles turned into like 15 miles. And then, so halfway through that, or a little under halfway through that, I really started feeling it because, I mean, I think the longest I ever ran consecutively was like maybe 8 miles. Mm. So I got past my threshold and I still had more to go. And I was just like,
it's demoralizing, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you what was even more demoralizing. There was an old ass man out there in a full on Batman outfit.
Nice.
Trucking it, running. Full blast, cape flapping in the wind and everything. And he was like one of the first of the 5 people to come in at the end of the marathon.
Wow.
Him and this old ass colonel, you know, the oldest motherfuckers are most physically fit. Don't understand it.
But did you finish the race?
I finished.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
2 hours and 16 minutes.
That's a great time. That's all that matters.
And when it was over, I hobbled back to my room. They gave me the day off the next day, and I literally stayed in bed all day, except for, you know, when I had to hobble out to go to the restroom. They brought me food in there. My feet was rested up on the end of the rack. Blisters was forming up. I could feel the blisters forming on my feet as I did that whole run. And I was just like, this is like never again.
That's funny. Yeah. This past April, I just did the Star Wars weekend at Disney World, and they have it's the Star Wars half marathon. Mm-hmm. I did the 10K on Saturday, which is 6 miles, and then the half marathon on Sunday, which is at the 13.1. So I did 19 point whatever miles it is in weekend, and then we had to fly back home. Still not fun, even as cool as it was to be amongst all that Star Wars stuff. It's just not fun running. I am bored out of my skull after about 10 steps, and I just pray for the end.
Yeah. Like, what's your mantra? What's your philosophy when you're running or whatever? I can tell you mine. Mine is the faster I run, the faster I can stop.
I don't even think of it that way. Throughout the whole race, no matter what race I'm doing, it's just keep your legs moving. Eventually it'll be over. Yeah.
Man, shit. I mean, I was in the military for 16 years, so I mean, I had to run. And like now that it's like over, I don't even want to run to my car.
I used to be a sprinter in high school.
Yeah,
so
see,
the longest that I ran in high school was a half mile, and that was it. Mm-hmm. So to go from running a half mile as fast as you can to trying to spread that out over 13 or 26 miles, it's not natural.
Horrible. Terrible. Terrible. But man, kind of rewind back a little bit. 46, right? 46. You don't look it. You're carrying it well.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
But 46, just now taking the dive into the martial arts realm and everything. But let's go back even further. Where did you become entranced by the world of martial arts?
Well, that's easy. Like a lot of boys my age, in the New York City tri-state area, Saturday afternoon Kung Fu theater was not just something that was on TV. It was a religion for a lot of us. That was church. Sunday at noon was church for a lot of people. For us, it was Saturday afternoon at 3 on Channel 5, I believe it was for us. But there was an intro song, an intro piece of music that played at exactly 3 o'clock. It was like a Sha-Na-Na type tune, and you knew that was the beginning of Kung Fu theater. And when that happened, boy, we were there. We would run in from outside, plop down in front of the TV, get through those 2 Kung Fu movies, and then head back outside. But that was where it all started. The whole Kung Fu era was a big deal for me in the 70s and 80s because it was everywhere. They had songs about Kung Fu. People were walking around in the Chinese silk pajamas with the slippers, and it was cool to like Kung Fu. It was cool to represent Kung Fu. Kung Fu schools were popping up all over the place because everybody was watching Saturday afternoon Kung Fu theater. Everybody knew who the 5 Deadly Venoms were. Everybody knew what 36 Chamber was before Wu-Tang. Yeah. And that was all part of my growing up. I grew up in Newark, New Jersey. Not the gentlest of places to grow up. No. But one of the things that everybody got into, even there in Newark, was Kung Fu theater. If you were in a rough patch and you sensed some trouble nearby, if anybody started talking about Kung Fu theater, it broke tension and everything was okay for a little bit, and then you find your way out of there and then you're safe. But Kung Fu the Kung Fu movies were a uniting force for that time in our lives. And I'm trying to remember if I'm romanticizing the whole thing, but I really don't think I am, because literally everywhere I went as a kid, Kung Fu films were represented in some way. The fashions, the music, there was posters and movies and books and schools. So it was hard to avoid it. And I mean, at that time I wasn't trying to avoid it anyway. So that was my steady diet when I was a kid.
Yeah. Yours, just replace everything you said with keep everything the same that you said, but instead of martial arts, replace that with professional wrestling, and that's pretty much my childhood.
Right. No, and you know what's funny is for a little period of time there, the two worlds kind of butted up against each other. There was Kung Fu, and then there was pro wrestling, because WrestleMania was just starting around that time too. So, you know, if you didn't like Kung Fu, if you didn't like Kung Fu theater, you liked the horror, the horror TV that was also on at the time. But if you didn't like either one of those, pro wrestling had started. So there was that third option. And eventually it just became kind of Kung Fu and pro wrestling, because there was, you know, sort of related, but not really. And then, pro wrestling eventually won out because, you know, the whole Kung Fu craze died down. But look, you're still talking about pro wrestling. It's 2018.
Yeah. It's popular. It's $1 billion business now.
Yeah.
But, man, I can remember watching those same, the Kung Fu theater and everything, because it would come on USA from what I can remember. And, it just wasn't like, at first, it wasn't so much about the martial arts. It was like, I thought the dubbing was funny as hell.
Oh, everybody did.
Yeah. And I would try to, you know, find myself mimicking the freaking dubs, and I'd be like,
You know what was so memorable for me was the sound effects. Yeah. And we would recreate those sound effects whenever we would play, right? You'd run around and you'd start flapping your shirt really loudly just to get that sound effect of you flying. And that was what that soundtrack was literally part of our lives.
Yeah, it'd just be like,
yeah.
You used to take tree branches and just, you know, cut the air with them, and it should be like,
Yep.
But it was great, man. It's just like, I can remember, you know, it was a fusion of both, because I mean, even when I was talking with Michael Jai White, I was just like, that was some of the things that I wanted to be as a kid, you know, a martial artist, a wrestler, you know, something to do with the military, a stuntman and everything. And, you know, those two were like back and forth with me. It's like, I can remember watching, what was it? I think it was Tiger Claw with Bolo Yang. I can remember going to the movies and seeing Double Impact. I can remember just like a whole bunch of, like, I don't remember seeing like the Five Deadly Venoms and all those movies until later on in life, when I knew exactly what they were. But like, I can remember as a kid, like seeing these movies to where people were freaking portraying animals and everything. They had like this girl, she was raised by wolves or something, and she would like run around on her hands and feet like a wolf and shit. And then somebody found her and they did like a palm strike and straightened her spine out because she'd been crouching for so long. It was like, I remember odd shit like that, but I don't remember the name of the movie. I don't remember who was in it. I just remember that particular thing that I just told you.
Yeah, the Five Deadly Venoms and 36 Chamber and those movies, those were even today when those movies are available, I will sit and watch just because the nostalgia is so strong around those movies for me, particularly Five Deadly Venoms. I remember seeing that movie for the first time and thinking, oh my God, there are real superheroes in these Kung Fu movies. You know, the animal styles and the speed and the strength and being able to stick to walls. Those are my Avengers.
Yeah. The one that really, like, through that whole period that I was just telling you about, to where I could just remember instances of movies and not really remember the movie. The one that stuck with me throughout my whole childhood, all the way up into adulthood, when I was able to find this motherfucker and purchase it, was the Chinese Super Ninjas.
Oh God, what a great movie!
Favorite, man, my favorite. I remember the original dubbed version of it, like the uncut one or whatever, because the one that I wind up buying on I think I eventually got it on Blu-ray, because I had it on VHS, and then I got rid of the VHS. Then some kind of way I found it on Blu-ray, you know, going through Amazon and all these different places, but it wasn't like the full version or everything, because I remember on the original, when dude got his stomach cut open and his intestines was hanging out.
Yeah,
You know, they kind of cut a little bit of that out. And then when they was fighting, I think the fire ninjas or whatever, he stabbed one of them in the chest, and you could see her boobies through her gi and everything.
Yes.
So they cut that out. It was just like small little stuff like that I remember. But I remember that whole movie from beginning to end. And that movie stuck with me throughout, you know, my whole life. Because, I mean, it's a fucking great movie.
It is. It is. I talked about that movie on the show. I knew it as Five Element Ninjas.
Yeah, Five Element Ninjas.
But there's so much craziness in that movie. If you stop to think too long about it, your brain kind of melted.
Yeah. I could just I think the best part was like the opening to me. It was like they were both schools was fighting against each other and everything, and just the different styles, and how when the samurai came and he did the harikari or whatever they call that shit. It sounded sounded like sandpaper when he was going across the plate. I was like, what the hell? But that was the dubbing effects, I guess.
Yeah.
And that, I think, like even the close second, you know, kind of keeping with that was the freaking Mystery of Chess Boxing with the Ghostface Killer.
Oh yeah, Ghostface Killer.
Favorite movie, man.
Yeah, and that's another one where, and not that it's anything to take away from the movie, but you get dropped right into the middle of that plot from the very beginning.
Yes.
And you're just like, what? Wait, what? Who? He's killing people? Why? What the hell?
Yeah, and it's not even that. It's just like the long drawn out intro where he doing his demonstration and everything, and he like doing the worm and all kind of crazy shit. And I was just like, okay. And then you just see this dude with white ponytail and everything, and he throw a Ghostface Killer plate down on the ground. Just like, huh? It's Ghostface Killer. Killing motherfuckers. And then slowly it's revealed why he's killing motherfuckers.
Right. Nah, good stuff.
Man.
Those are the classics.
I want to watch that shit right now.
It's interesting, right? Because those movies wouldn't get made today. There's been a lot of talk about Hollywood redoing some of those movies.
Yeah.
But I don't see how they could be made without really kind of changing how those movies feel. There's a distinct feel to those movies, particularly when we were younger and experiencing them for the first time. But if you try to put that movie out now with a Hollywood budget and sticking to the way that they frame those stories, I don't think that it would work. I don't know that today's audiences would be able to take any of it seriously.
All right. Now, I'm not going to lie. I mean, most recently, I mean, I've been tracking, you know, certain people like Michael Jai White, Tony Jaa, you know, Donnie Yen, and I forget the guy from The Raid. I forget his name, but you know,
Ego was.
Yeah, and you know, I'm tracking some of that stuff, but I'm not into all and each and everything like how I used to be.
Right.
But movie that comes to mind when you talk about kind of remaking a classic or trying to give a current movie old school feel. What do you feel about what's that Man with the Iron Fist?
Oh, the RZA?
Yeah.
I actually like that movie because, and I'll tell you why. Now, does it have its flaws? Sure.
Yes.
And I think a lot of those flaws are in trying to translate it for a Hollywood audience. But some of the elements that he pulls from the classics that he translates faithfully resonate really well with me. The characters feel, some of them anyway, some of them feel like characters that would have made a great classic kung fu movie. And I can relate to the way that they're presented and the things that they do, the way that they talk, the way that they carry themselves.
Yeah.
Some of them have some swagger that, you know, is kind of misplaced, but you see a lot of the archetypes from the classic kung fu movies, and where it doesn't feel like that is I think he tries to bring in a lot of that Hollywood element to make it sellable. And that's really the only part that kind of takes me out of it. But if they could tone some of that marketing stuff down,
yeah,
I think it would be a fun. Either way, it's a fun movie all the way through, and I will watch it. But if they tone down some of the efforts to sell it to Hollywood and make it saleable, I think it would probably have benefited more for us fans and maybe not the Hollywood public. But that's the trade-off. Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's not a thing to make a niche movie. You have to make a niche movie for everybody.
Right. And that's where it starts to fall down, right? I don't know that Hollywood can make a martial arts movie nowadays without couching it as something else. Like, John Wick is a martial arts movie.
Yeah.
Right? But
Guns.
It's a martial arts movie that is hidden under gunplay and, secret assassin storylines. Jason Bourne is a martial arts movie, but that's a secret spy movie first, So that's the Raid is a great movie and they're going to try to remake that.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Remake it? What you mean remake it? Like it's just been made not too long ago.
Yeah. Yeah, Frank Grillo is going to be involved in it.
Oh, so I see what you're saying. It's kind of like how they did with those B-13 movies when they made brick mansions and shit.
Right. So that's they're
going to Americanize it.
Exactly.
Oh no.
So we'll see. The Raid was awesome. I thought it was an awesome movie because it was unabashed martial arts. From start to finish, they threw you into a situation that, look, the guns are gone now. Now what are you going to do? Yep. So they had to fight their way out. And, there was an introduction of a new martial arts style, at least for the genre. And man, it blew the doors off the theater the first time I saw it.
I don't even know how I came across that daggone movie, but I knew whenever I got my hands on it, I had to have it. And then they messed around and made a second one. I mean, which was good, but I don't think it was up there with the first one.
Yeah, but there are some amazing fights in Raid 2.
Oh, yes. Man, it's just like, just even thinking about the Raid, it's just like the two scenes that stick out to me the most is when you ramming dude head up against the wall. He hit the light, then he hit the wall, then he go all the way down to the freaking floor. And then like the other scene that I was talking about the other time is when he stabbed him at the top of the thigh and ripped it all the way through his knee. And I was just like, how do you even think of this?
Good. It's so well done too. And the Iko Uwais is so cool to watch, right? He looks he's got that attitude where he seems kind of almost innocent and kind of lost, but when he lets fly, man, it's just badass.
Yeah, it is. What else? We got some other examples. I had something in my head. What do you think about Kill Bill, trying to bring that old classic style to a modern forefront?
So Kill Bill, okay. I like Kill Bill. I like what Quentin Tarantino did with all that stuff. He's obviously a fan. A lot of influences of all of the classic kung fu stuff in those movies, and all of it comes through really strongly when you're watching those films. So when he wants to nod to a certain film, you get that if you're a fan, and you pick up on it, and you're like, you get that nod and the wink. As a film, I think it's amazing. He's a great director. As a martial arts film, I could take it or leave it. Only because Uma Thurman is a fine actress, but she's not a martial artist.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I kind of give respect to people who try to, take on the things like that and, try to make a salvageable movie or whatever. I mean, everybody is not Keanu Reeves, I guess, right?
Right.
Or Jason Statham.
Yeah. Yeah. No, as a film, I think it's fantastic. The shots are great. The way that it's paced is amazing, and the dialogue is hilarious. So, I would just separate them. I would never say that that's a classic martial arts film for me personally. That's all.
No problem. Nothing springs to my mind. What do you have any examples? Taking a classic and making it modern.
I don't know that. I don't know that I have any examples of classics being modernized. There was talk of somebody redoing Five Fingers of Death, that movie. I'm opening up a can of worms here, and I was wondering if we were going to get to it tonight. But that movie, Five Fingers of Death, was the inspiration for the creation of Iron Fist. Mm-hmm. So, which we've had debates about, but
not about so much Iron Fist the character itself, but so much about Iron Fist the Marvel adaptation on Netflix.
Iron Fist, whatever that piece of shit is on Netflix. That's not fair. But so somebody was talking about redoing that, and again, I'm not sure that the sensibility in Hollywood is there to adequately capture that. The Raid is a great movie. Yes. Ong Bak was a great movie, but again, because they weren't thinking about Hollywood when they made that movie. I just interviewed Jean-Paul Lee, who is in Jailbreak, and that's on Netflix. If you get a chance to watch that, check out that movie. That's another one of those movies where you turn off your brain and just let the action wash over you. It's.
I like how you put that.
Yeah,
just let the action wash over you.
Yeah. Just turn off your brain and just let it happen. The budget on this film was ridiculously small, but Jean-Paul Lee and the whole crew behind this film wanted to make a Cambodian martial arts film showcasing a Cambodian martial art called Bokatao, which may have been the genesis of Muay Thai. When you see it, you'll understand why. But the action is really, really well done. It's got a Raid feel to it. It's sort of a comedy, so there's some silly dialogue in there. But if you appreciate action for the sake of action that's well done and moves the story along, not just vomiting action on film, that is useless. That's pointless. But check out Jailbreak because it's a lot of fun and it's really, really well done. But that's one of those movies that would not have been made by Hollywood because Hollywood couldn't package it into something that would be palatable for that Hollywood audience.
Noted. I'm gonna put that down.
But anyway, Iron Fist. since I brought it up,
yeah, come on with it.
You are the ultimate apologist for Iron Fist.
Not me. I'm not the only one. There's more of us. We are legion.
Yes, you are. And honestly, I don't get it. I just don't get it. There's for Iron Fist fans, for anybody who is a fan of the comic book character Iron Fist, there's a whole story behind him. The training at Kunlun and being the one who beats the dragon to earn the title of Iron Fist and all of this stuff.
Yeah.
When he was created, he was supposed to be the best martial artist in the Marvel universe, the top of the line, the king of kings. It would take 100 Bruce Lees to beat him. Whatever. What you get in this Netflix Iron Fist, at least in season 1, because I have not seen season 2, or I haven't even seen Defenders, so I don't even know what he does in that. And supposedly he gets better, but what you get in that first season of Iron Fist is a guy that is so smug about what he can do, and then just can't back it up when he actually has to do it on screen. So
yeah.
I'm just like, every time I try to watch it, I think, oh my God, this is such a wasted opportunity. And then I get demoralized, so I turn it off.
Yeah. So this is where I'm gonna get you right quick. It's just like, I do agree with you. A lot of the stuff that I said was trolling, but given what little bit I do know about the series as a whole, I mean, I'm not talking about the comic books or the lore or anything like that. I'm just talking about the Netflix series and everything, that he was actually training for his scenes on set as they were getting ready to happen. Yeah. That he didn't have any formal training beforehand, and they didn't have enough time for him to train beforehand. You know, I took all that stuff into account.
Okay. And I will counter that with some, how do I phrase this so that nobody gets in trouble? With some information about how little training certain people were actually willing to do.
I get.
Let me put it that way.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
So it
wasn't so much I didn't have time. It's just like, I don't have time.
Right. Right. So the guys that did all of the action were all super talented. They all had, previses that were in place and set to make things look amazing. And from what I understand, when time came to work on those previses and make them real, all of a sudden, certain people weren't available to actually work on stuff. So things had to be reshuffled and cut to accommodate.
Okay. See, yeah, that's the other side of the coin there. You know what I mean? I know what I said, and now I know what you're saying.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, I mean, knowing what you're saying or whatever, I mean, that gives me a different outlook on the thing. So, I mean,
right.
Did you know that prior to going into the series?
I did not.
Okay, so it's kind of the same thing with me or whatever, because I mean, I seen it first, and then I found out what I found out after the fact. But I mean, to me, as far as the visual, it could have been way better. Yeah. But as the story goes, I thought it was all right. I mean, I felt like that it wasn't nothing but a puzzle piece to the bigger picture of that Netflix series, that Netflix world of Marvel.
No, I agree with you there. I think had they done some things differently, I think it would have been able to hold its own up there with, how good Daredevil is or how good Punisher is. Mm-hmm. But because they sacrificed so much on the parts that I think really matter to the show, I think the show falls down because of it. Now, Iron Fist 2, the fight choreographer that's coming on to that part of the series is a big deal. It's Clayton Barber, and he directed the action for Black Panther.
Okay.
So, and he also did some fight choreography for some short films that I covered in the show with Eric Jacobus. But he knows what he's doing, and he places a great emphasis on the action being able to further the story and really carry the story. So it's not just vomiting action onto the screen and not dumbing down the action because there was no time to train anyone to do it. So, there isn't a lot of bad lighting and jump cuts and terrible angles. So that gives me a little bit of hope that they're going to change that up so it feels better. for people who are looking for that kind of stuff. But that relies very heavily on the guy playing Iron Fist to want to be Iron Fist. Exactly.
I think they look more for Danny Rand than they did Iron Fist.
Yeah. And I think he's fine as Danny Rand. And I thought he was great in Game of Thrones, Finn Jones. I thought he was fantastic. Mm-hmm. I think he's a great actor. But when you ask,
seldom that can do both.
Right, and that's not hard to find. There are people out there that can do that, right? Yeah. So a slightly different bit of casting, and that's a whole different show.
Yeah, and then I mean, it's too far in to change anything now. I mean, unless this was DC, they would have retconned that shit and got somebody new in a heartbeat.
Oh, poor DC! They cannot stop punching themselves in the face.
Hell yeah, man! I'm just like, why do we need so many Jokers?
Yeah, I'm not sure what their philosophy is in terms of making movies. They're not. It's like they're not invested in growing those characters and making them their own brands. You know, they did it with Batman, mm-hmm. And they did it several times with Batman. You know, what happened along the way where you're like, let's throw that playbook out and let's just make as many movies as we can.
Yeah, what I understand, I mean, I kind of had this conversation with somebody before, is as far as DC goes, in my estimation, I'm not speaking for everybody, but it seems to me that their animated movies are like the bomb diggity.
Oh yeah,
their live action movies ain't about shit.
For sure, definitely for sure. I don't know what's going on there. I liked Wonder Woman. I thought that was well done.
Wonder Woman, yeah. Wonder Woman and The Dark Knight is the only two movies that they got that's like awesome.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But what is it about that formula that they can't apply to everything else? I'm hoping Aquaman is cool. That's a great character. And Jason Momoa looks awesome. Mm-hmm. He looks totally badass. That's a completely different take on Aquaman that I never would have put together. But you know, I don't know, man. I don't hold out a lot of hope for it.
There was a movie. I know what the movie is. The name is escaping me right now. It was Jason Momoa and goddamn Sylvester. Bullet to the Head. You seen that?
I have not seen it.
Oh man, great movie. Jason Momoa is a badass assassin. Cool. You know, Stallone is the good guy, and he just played the hell out of that role. It's like I seen Jason Momoa I seen him in small doses, but I'd never really seen him until I seen Bullet to the Head. Mm-hmm. So put that on your watch list. This is a great movie.
Definitely. All right, cool. Yeah, the other thing that just came out from DC was that Titans trailer. Have you seen that?
Yeah, fuck Batman.
What? Why? Why would I don't even get it? And it was like a checklist of things that DC is going to do mm-hmm. to make this terrible. Let's make it gritty. Let's make it dark. Let's make all of the characters angsty and unlikable. Mm-hmm. And let's just have them be complete dicks. Mm-hmm. And they checked off all those boxes, which means I'm never going to watch this show.
Yeah. Then they got I don't think Cyborg is in it, correct?
And I didn't see him in that now.
Mm. Yeah.
But it's too bad too, because the guy that's doing the action direction for that, Larnell Stovall, I had him on my show too. He's fantastic. He does great work, and he knows how to make people look good. So in terms of the action, I'm sure that the Robin will move and look amazing. But again, if that's all that's got going for it, it's not enough.
I don't know, man. It's just like, they got the money, mm-hmm. they got the star power, but it seems to me that they just can't hold on to people, you know? Cause like I said this a couple times in a conversation, as to where they got Ben Affleck. He's doing pretty doggone good. I like him, but you know, there's like, we got Ben Affleck. He gonna do this movie, and then he was in freaking Batman vs Superman. He's Justice League. Now he gonna direct the new Batman. Now he's stepping down from being the director so he can focus on being Batman. Now I hear about this motherfucker just stepping away completely. So It's just like people don't like how they do business over there, so they can't hold on to somebody for long enough, and then they got to reboot this and turn this person this way and all this other crazy shit. I just don't get it.
Yeah. They don't want to win. Really, that's all it comes down to.
This is just fan service. I mean, we're just going to put it out there because you want it. I mean, not how you want it, but it's just because you want it.
Yeah, yeah. And then they'll be surprised when people don't like it. Okay.
Because, I mean, I didn't think Suicide Squad was that bad. I thought it was all right. I mean, I don't think... my thing is, like, there's not a whole bunch of movies that I'll straight up tell you that, like, this movie was shit. You know, I'll just like, you could have did something different. You could have did a bit better. Right.
The problem with the DC movies is you find yourself saying that an awful lot.
Exactly. What was kind of the tale of the tape for me? It was just like, I went to Walmart, surprise, surprise, and they had a 4-pack. It was Batman versus Superman, Justice League, Suicide Squad, and another DC movie, all in the 4-pack, all like a little set. And it was like $20-something. And then they had a Marvel movie that just came out, just the one movie by itself, and that was $20-something. So you mean to tell me that all
That's about right. That's about right.
You know,
I'll tell you why I say that's about right, because of those movies that you mentioned in the DC pack, I've seen about a quarter of each movie before I turned it off, and I'll have to catch it another time.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I wish they were more consistent. I don't give a damn what order they do the movies in. I just want some consistency. I want one goddamn Joker till that motherfucker die, like Heath Ledger, and then damn, that's it.
Yeah. Heath Ledger was, man, what an awesome performance.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, man. He's just like, I mean, I'm interested in seeing what Joaquin Phoenix is going to bring to the table, but.
I only saw a little bit of what what's his name did with in Suicide Squad, but I was like, okay, I guess.
I mean, you say you only seen a little bit. I mean, that's all they gave throughout the whole movie was a little bit. So I mean,
so I'm not missing much then.
Not really. I mean, he's just in a couple scenes of the whole movie. You know, he's not like a current throughout the whole movie. It's like, hey, I'm in the beginning. Here's a little backstory between me and Harley. All right, I'm going to fade away again. Movie. Hey, Joker's here. Movie. Joker's here. Movie's over.
Whew, all right, then. Good job, DC. Keep working on it.
Yeah. Now, kind of fade back into the martial arts movies again. I guess we never really left technically.
Yeah, it's true.
But back to those classics. We were talking about, you know, trying to modernize, you know, some of the older movies or whatever. If you had your pick of the litter and everything, what movie would you take from the past and bring to the present? You know, kind of try to modernize it.
Oh man, I've been asked this before. That's such a tough question because I would want to see Five Deadly Venoms remade. Mm-hmm. Right. And I've even posted on Twitter a suggestion on who could play who, and Michael Jai White was one of them. I would cast Michael Jai White as Toad Venom, and it was his favorite Venom from that movie too. So, I would love to see.
Yeah, I would love to see him fly up against a wall and stick to that motherfucker.
Yeah, you know, I would love to see that movie made with Hollywood money, but not with Hollywood sensibility.
Yeah.
So,
just get a classically trained martial artist to film, you know, set the movie up and just like give him unlimited funds. Just take the movie and go play with your toys.
Yeah, but you know, it's got to capture that feel that the original imparted when we were watching it. You know, there was you could feel the kind of spiritual, mystical part of the Kung Fu lore in that original movie. Mm-hmm. I have a feeling that all of that would get stripped away if it was put in Hollywood's hands, just because that kind of stuff doesn't play to audiences now. So, but and I can't believe that that's even a thing to be concerned with either, because we're watching the Avengers, we're watching superheroes, aliens, gods from Asgard. So you can't tell me that
different.
Yeah, you can't tell me that it wouldn't, that if it's done well, that audiences wouldn't buy it. So that would be the movie that I would like to see done. But, the danger with that is the movie that I fell in love with as a kid would be completely ruined by this interpretation, and I would just be bitter.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's almost in the sense like, reading a book and realizing how good that book was, and then you see a movie of that book and you're like, ugh, this is nasty.
Yeah, right. Right.
Give me my book back.
Right. Right. Yeah, but I wouldn't want to be that that guy that was like, well, only new stuff sucks and all the old stuff is the best. So
yeah. And then like a lot of it is like with the older movies, is the memories attached to it. Cause I can remember anytime I watch some of those old movies, I can probably almost put myself in the place of where I was when I first originally saw it.
Right. Yeah. Yep. For sure. That's definitely a part of it. So that's the only one that I would like Hollywood to try to bring back if any, but if they're not going to do it right, then just leave it alone.
Okay. Now, what's something more current that you would like to see remade?
Something current that I'd like to see remade.
Yeah, current-ish.
Yeah, again, it's one of those things where I'm not sure that I would want it touched, but the Hero from Jet Li is so amazing as a movie by itself, and that feels like it's got Hollywood budget on it. But if they expanded on that and made it this massive sprawling epic, man, that would be amazing. Iron Monkey would be fun. Donnie Yen is just an incredible actor and martial artist, and that movie feels like it could translate pretty well without sacrificing too much. I'd like to see what they could do with that. I don't know. I think I'll leave it with that because I'm not sure that anything. I'd like to see some of Jet Li's movies get more love from Hollywood and see what they could do with it. Some of the earlier stuff, later stuff, like The One. And
oh man, you the man. I swear to God, I was about to say The One. I was going to bring it up to you in conversation. I was going to get your thoughts about it, but you already brought it here. So there you go.
Yeah, because that was a fun movie, and he's great in it. If Hollywood put some money behind that, man, that would be cool.
Now, who would we get to be the one?
Oh, boy. There's so many up-and-coming martial artists out there.
See that, now, with that movie, The One, that was the very first movie I saw Jason Statham in.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know who would have that kind of skill set and be as charismatic, but Jean-Paul Lee is really good. I'd like to see him do more stuff. He'll be doing some stuff for Disney in a few months, so you can catch him on that. Who else? Trying to think of any. Jackie Hung is really good too. He doesn't do much in terms of high exposure stuff, but if you watch that Gung Sho Dao short, he was in that. I don't know, Iko Uwais would be awesome too, man. I'd love to see him do more stuff. Who else? I'm not sure that anybody else would is coming to mind right now, but there are a lot of guys that are good actors and have the skill as martial artists to be able to pull that off. So I know, Hollywood, if you're listening, man, do it and let's see who you come up with.
Pretty please. I mean, that was a good movie, man. Because like as I glance over my shoulder at my martial arts shelf right there, the one is just like blaring out.
Yeah,
right there.
Yeah, cool sci-fi, cool kung fu.
Now, what do you think about the damn is a movie that came out a while back, had Jet Li and Jackie Chan in it, The Forbidden
Kingdom.
Yeah, what do you think about that movie?
It's all right. You know, it was Jackie Chan and Jet Li beyond their primes.
Yeah.
So it wasn't going to be anything that lives up to their legends.
Mm-hmm.
But
it wasn't even them most of the time.
Wasn't even them. Yeah, you know, and that was the last Starfighter in ancient China, right? So, it was okay, and it's fun. It's not anything that I would turn anyone away from if they wanted to see some cool martial arts in an accessible format.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that would be pretty much my take. It's like, if you want to see some fun kung fu with some legends and in a friendly format, check out The Forbidden Kingdom, because it's cool.
What was something I was damn, I had something else.
So let me ask you this: what is your take on Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon?
Dude, did you read my fucking mind, dog? Like, that was one of those movies that I saw, but I didn't see, if you get what I'm saying. It's just like, there was all this pomp and circumstance around it or whatever, but I was just like, that was one of the, kind of what we was talking about earlier. That was like taking an old movie and trying to modernize it. You know, It's just like a lot of the flying across the water and standing on tree limbs and everything. It didn't really work so much for me. You know?
Yeah, I agree. And that's one of those films that people really loved. And I sat back and go, really?
Mm-hmm.
It's all right. It was fine. Yeah, it was a good primer for classic wuxia films.
Mm-hmm.
But it got to the point where some of it was just silly to me.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. It's just like, it was just something off about it to me, you know?
That was my take on the whole movie. It was okay, but it just wasn't satisfying as a martial arts film for me. There was some great stuff in it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Michelle Yeoh is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Xi Jiang is amazing. Great performances. As a cohesive movie, it's okay. You know, I could have turned on anything on Saturday afternoon Kung Fu Theater and been more satisfied. But it's hard to explain. I don't hate it. I just don't love it. That's all, really. I don't know that they could have done anything to make me love that film. Just one of the things that bothered me about that movie was that everybody in that movie couldn't smile to save their lives. It was the most depressing bunch of characters put together in a film. They were all so dour and so serious to the point it was like, somebody crack a smile or something, because you're just depressing the crap out of me.
Yeah, I don't know. It just felt weird to me. What do you think about Tony Jaa? I mean, what was your first impressions of him when you heard him and seen him on film?
I thought that dude was a ridiculous dynamo. I wasn't sure that he was all 100% real, because he just moved so crazily. He is a perfect ambassador for his martial art, and it was a nice film to break out with as an ambassador. I don't know what he's done since that has lived up to that kind of hype, but we'll see. He's still relatively new to the relatively new to the whole thing. So we'll see what he does. He's going to be in Triple Threat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which I'm totally excited about.
Right. So, we'll see how that works out.
Yeah. Cause I mean, I don't know, man. It just seems like, he did, The Protector.
Mm-hmm.
Then it had, Unbach.
Mm-hmm.
And, that was like the two major ones.
Right. And then you don't hear anything else really.
Yeah. I mean, he had 2 and 3 of Unbach, which 2 was all right. They didn't really have shit to do with the first one.
Right.
2 and 3 didn't. And then, The Protector 2 with Maurice Crump, my dude.
Right.
And then he had, like those little, the little comedy buddy cop with, the dude that's always in his movies, the chubby guy, bald head.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he had like little bit parts in 2 of his movies, The Bodyguard and The Bodyguard 2.
Mm.
And then they had Killzone 2, which most recently came out. I mean, yeah, Killzone.
Yep. Yeah, Killzone 2. Yeah, that's right.
Then Paradox, which he had like a bit role in that. He wasn't even in the whole movie. He was just like in bits and pieces of it. I got that.
He was in that new Triple X movie. I didn't see it, but
yeah, I'm just talking about like mostly his projects.
Yeah.
But he was in the Triple X movie. That was okay. He was in one of those Fast and the Furious movies.
Mm-hmm.
That was okay. He was a villain. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then what else? I mean, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and that's I guess a factor of choices.
Yeah, because like from what I see, because like I follow him on Instagram, is like he does a lot of tour work, like demos and everything like that. So that might be like a music type of thing, whatever. I mean, most artists make most of their money when they go out on tour rather than, producing albums.
Right. So.
Because that's the most I've ever seen of him in the beginning was like a whole bunch of YouTube videos of him just doing demos and demonstrations and shit before I actually start seeing movies.
I would love to see more work from him, but I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure what other vehicle would really showcase what he can do.
Yeah.
So.
Because I mean, I feel like I've seen it all,
Right. And that's the danger.
Yeah. And it's like with him, it's just like at the time, like when I was first getting to know him and his, his style and everything, I was like, dog, this is like the new Jackie Chan right here. Because I mean, he did all his own shit.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that I really liked about the classic Kung Fu films. You knew that these guys were doing their own shit. Mm-hmm. And it was all pure skill that you were watching. Yeah.
And that's another thing. Like you obviously do some research and you know more about these things than I do. I mean, I just go on hearsay and what I see on TV. It blew my mind when I figured out Wesley Snipes actually knew motherfucking martial arts.
Oh man, if I could get him on the show, I have so much to talk about with him.
I think I sent his production company an email. I'm trying to get him to.
I've sent his production company an email, flowers, wine, whatever. But
he has a book that just came out. It was like the Talent
of God.
Yeah, that. Most recently, I mean, this is probably going to be our way in. This is how we going to get it done. He wrote a book, and I think he co-wrote it with somebody, and that person commented on my post about the Michael Jai White interview, and we kind of had like a little exchange, and he followed my account and I followed him back. So that might be our way in. We can attack him and work our way up.
He and I follow each other on Twitter, so.
Damn it. All right. I thought I had an end, damn it.
Ray Norman.
Yep. So I'm telling you, man, just invite him on the show and y'all can talk about shit, and you gotta get a foot in the door, man. All right.
Well, I would, if I actually get to read the book, I would talk to Ray and see what that's about, because from what I understand, there's a martial arts mystical element in that book, so it would be worth it.
Alley.
But Wesley Snipes, great actor, great martial artist. He was one of those guys that did all his own stuff, or what he could do, what the insurance companies would let him do anyway. But we've had this discussion before too. I will always maintain that Blade was the start of the Marvel Cinematic Universe before the Marvel Cinematic Universe even knew what it was. Yeah.
As far as like that superhuman ability type deal or whatever. Because I mean, if you want to get technical, we had Howard the Duck.
Yeah, whatever. No, the way that Blade was portrayed as a serious take on a superhero and making it believable in the world that we inhabited at the time. That film blew my mind when it came out. It's like, oh my God, superheroes can be serious and cool and do kung fu and Blade.
And what people not really thinking about it like this type of way or whatever. It's just like what Blade showed people is like how kind of a superhero would cope with everyday life, pretty much.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Real world superhero in real world circumstances, and it was totally believable.
Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, I'm pretty sure you knew about this too, but like they originally had their eye on LL Cool J to be Blade.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that would have worked out. Much respect to LL, but I don't know, man.
No, man. I mean, physically, he probably could fit the part that way, but like, I don't know, man. We might have had another Iron Fist incident.
What's funny about LL is he's got that way of talking that always sounds like he's egging you on, or is always kind of trolling, but in a joking way when he starts talking smack. So, it might have injected a little bit more humor into the character, but I don't want humor in Blade. I want him the way that Wesley Snipes portrayed him.
And then, like, for some reason, I could just imagine him in a fight scene and Mama's gonna knock you out just playing in the background and shit.
Yeah.
Now,
which would be funny the first time, but
but not the other 38 times after. Now, I mean, let's get your ranking of the three films. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's in line with everybody else's. The Blade 1, 2, and 3. What are your thoughts on those three films?
First of all, there's only two films. There's Blade 1 and there's Blade 2.
You exact answer everybody says every time.
There's Blade 1 and then there's Blade 2 and then there's some spin-off that didn't fit. So I don't.
I even forgot what what was the Blood Pack or something. What the fuck was his little sidekick's name?
The Wolf Pack?
No, that's NWO Wolf Pack.
I don't remember.
See, I forget, man. I mean, and I love those movies, but I forget that one little detail because it was Whistler's daughter and Ryan Reynolds and all the other people, and they had a name for their little group. I just forgot what it was.
Yeah. Okay, whatever. It was that movie.
Yeah, that movie.
It was, what was it called? Blade Trinity, right? So,
do you think that even contributed to, like, I guess, the financial problems that he would ultimately land him in jail or whatever?
Oh, I don't know. I can't see how it would have helped.
I'm just saying, I need money. Let's do a Blade movie. Okay.
Yeah. That whole debacle was, I guess, trying to break out a new piece of that franchise, and no one wanted it. Yeah. Nobody wanted that. They wanted Blade.
I mean, the key points to me that like we're trying to bring people to that film were, one, I mean, I'm a wrestling fan, so Triple H, seeing him in the movie was like, oh, okay, I got to see that. And then I think Ryan, I'm not good with timelines and everything, so I'm probably way off base. Ryan Reynolds was just coming off an Amityville Horror, maybe.
Oh, was he? I guess
gearing up for it or something like that. Because I mean,
yeah, maybe.
I don't know. So they had that going on, and then Jessica Alba or whatever the fuck.
Jessica Biel.
Biel, one of them Jessicas. Jessica with the good hair. She was in it. And yeah, there you go. Blade Trinity. The motherfucker from Jailbreak.
What a piece of garbage.
You know what? I wish they would have just stopped at 2. That way, you know, they would have had some good, you know, I guess. I look at it this way. All right, we got Blade 1, great. Blade 2, good.
Yeah.
If it was just left off there, I believe, you know, with just those 2 films alone, Marvel could have maybe circled the wagon around back on the whole Blade thing or whatever.
Yeah. Man, there has been so really much talk about a Blade 4.
No. I'm going to tell you what really put the nail in the coffin. It wasn't even Blade 3. It was the fact that you had motherfucking Sticky Fingers.
Oh, the TV series.
That's what killed the Blade shit.
I've only seen a few episodes of that TV series, so I don't know how bad it actually got.
Dog, there's only a few episodes of that thing because they had a movie. There was a Blade movie with Sticky Fingers as Blade. Then they had season 1, which the show was canceled before the first season was over.
Right. I remember that.
So
yeah,
there you go. That tells you about it there. And I've never seen them either. I've only heard Sticky Fingers say one dialogue as Blade, and then I heard it. I was like, no, I can't do this.
I think I know which piece of dialogue you're talking about too. I remember seeing that too, and going, "What?
Yeah.
What is he doing?"
And seeing that's also because I still love the movies, and as a collector, I'm still entertaining. Maybe trying to find that movie and that box set with season 1, just so I can have it. I'll probably never watch it. Yeah, I'll probably never watch it, but just to have it in the set.
Oh, okay.
Cause I'm still missing one Mortal Kombat movie. You know, I don't think it was a movie. It was that Mortal Kombat Conquest. I think it was like a mini series or some shit
on TV.
Yeah, and I'm missing that, so I need that to add to the set because I got both. I got Mortal Kombat Legacy 1 and 2. Then I got the 2 original Mortal Kombat movies.
That's funny. Mortal Kombat Conquest, that TV show.
Yeah.
The guy that played the lead, who was the lead in that one, Kung Lao? Was it Kung Lao or Liu Kang? No, it wasn't Liu Kang. Kung
Lao, because it was in the past, I think.
Yeah, it was the past. So yeah, it was Kung Lao. That guy was a very good friend of mine in high school.
What?
Paulo Montalban. Yeah.
He sounds like a Spaniard or something. He's
Filipino.
Yeah, you're gonna sail the 7 seas and shit and find treasure.
yeah. Paulo Montalban. He played Kung Lao in Mortal Kombat Conquest. Yeah, he was my buddy in high school. We did high school plays together.
Did he have any formal martial arts training?
He did not. And if you watch that show very closely, this was a joke that we had, but every time he got into a fight, he turned into a 6-foot white man.
Oh, God, nah, I really got to have this shit.
Yeah, it was a running joke that every time he got into a fight scene, he turned into a 6-foot white man, and then he came back when the fight was over.
Oh man, I gotta get that shit now. I'm gonna look it up this weekend. Man, oh, I don't even remember how I stumbled across that shit originally. I just remember it being on, and I watched it.
I watched it too because it was Mortal Kombat, but
yeah. I think it might have been on TNT or something like that, and it probably had something to do with wrestling because some crazy off the wall shit can't come on after wrestling.
I'm sure.
That's crazy. Yeah, but Blade, all right, and I'm going to pose the same question to you. You should probably know my answer by now, but if at any time or any reason Marvel decides to bring the franchise back in either movie form or a Netflix series, who are you casting as Blade?
Right. Now, this is assuming that Wesley Snipes can't pull it off anymore.
This is assuming that he is off the table. Now, I will allow him to have some involvement to whether it be directing or consulting or maybe even being like a Whistler character or even maybe being Blade himself, kind of like passing the mantle on to another Daywalker or some shit like that. Yeah. I'll even allow that. Which
I think would be cool. Yes. But and I think we agree on this. Maurice Crump has lobbied to be Blade forever, and he would be amazing.
Mm-hmm. I have lobbied for this shit. I don't know if I'm not talking to the right people, but
yeah, well, but he's put some short films on his Instagram and his YouTube channel of him in Daywalker garb doing the Blade thing, and he looks right for the role. He looks, he's got the skill, he's got the chops.
Yep.
And if you're gonna do it, it will be done right if you give him the part.
Yeah, because the first movie I've seen him in was The Wrong Side of Town.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew then there was just something about him. It was just like the way he moved around and everything when he was fighting. I was just like, damn, this dude pretty good.
Yeah.
And then got to see him in The Protector 2, and the way he was just like talking shit to everything. I was like, in that moment when he was talking to Tony Jaa and they were fighting and everything, I was just like, this dude is Blade. This dude is like Wesley Snipes' son or some shit. I was like, I could see him with the sword on his back, the freaking the bladerarangs.
The glaives.
The glaives. I was like, that is my dude, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you watch Cash the series?
Not yet. I've seen a couple of the interviews they put out before it started, but I haven't watched the actual series yet.
There's only one episode so far as I know. Mm-hmm. The second one hasn't come out yet, but it's a good look at the way that he carries himself when he's got that lead role.
Mm-hmm.
He's menacing, he's powerful, he's quick as hell, and he lays the smacketh down with impunity. So
yeah, that's my dude, man. It's just like, I can remember it was a little point in time to where he was doing Instagram live videos, and we were both on there in this chat just talking to him and shit. It was like, hey man, come do the podcast. Yeah. I would love to be able to chat with him and see what goes on. He's done so much work. He did fight choreography for Black Panther with Chadwick Boseman. So the stories that guy has, I'm sure they're another tie-in for me as well is he trains professional wrestler Kofi Kingston.
Oh, okay.
So like wrestling, yay.
I didn't know that professional wrestlers needed trainers. That's cool.
People seek it out. So
I guess you have to learn how to take a chair to the face without getting hurt. So
yeah, kind of. Yeah, I don't think there's no way to avoid it. You can put your hand up or whatever, but it's still gonna hurt. All this driving your hand into your face.
I remember when back when I was a kid and watching WrestleManias and all that stuff. Of course, the huge argument way back then was, man, wrestling's all fake.
Yeah.
And I knew it was fake, but I didn't care at the time. Because even back then, I realized that these guys were throwing themselves off the tops of
things. Yes.
Of things. They were jumping off the top rope, and you can't jump off the top rope and fake that. You've got to land it. You've got to land so that you don't kill yourself. So, obviously it took some kind of skill. So I was always on the side of, clearly it's fake, but they're still incredible athletes. So let it go.
Yeah. I was like, that's the argument. My daddy didn't he was just like doing it to fuck with me. He was trolling me pretty much. He was just like, I'll be in there watching it. He would just walk by. He's like, you know that's fake, right? It's like, no, it's not. He hit it with a chair.
Right. So, yeah, it's still fun. I fell out of wrestling. Let me see. Wait, let me think of the last guys that I followed before I fell out of wrestling. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Wow. You way back there.
Coco Beware.
Oh, man. Which are all WWE Hall of Famers.
Yeah. So, I mean, those were the British Bulldogs were still super cool, good guys at the time.
Yeah, you way in the back, man.
Oh, yeah. This is ancient history for pro wrestling fans now.
Yeah.
Oh, Razor Ramon.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now I'm creeping into your area then, because I mean, you got a 10-year gap on me.
And, so the last guy that I remember liking, as a character in the pro wrestling world was the Undertaker.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. No, yeah. That's you kind of in the back.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know anybody who's doing it nowadays, but the Undertaker at least was an interesting character, and his sidekick was always ridiculously funny, Paul Bearer. Yep. So that was about that was as far as I took it.
Percy Pringle. That's his real name. His
what?
sidekick.
Get out of here.
Yeah. He died a couple years ago.
Yeah. I remember hearing that news. I was like, oh, look, Paul Bearer died finally.
Yeah. Nobody was saying, oh, yes, like how he would. So, all right. We're going to wind down, but I never really got to ask you, because, I mean, we went down this rabbit hole of so many awesome things that I love so much. Podcasting. How do you find yourself in this realm?
Okay.
Did your kids try to do it, so you was like, no, I'm going to do it too?
No, but my daughters do now want to start their own podcast because I do it. So, all
right, now they're copying you. See, it's a vicious circle.
Yeah. So I was doing some work late one night, and I was watching Five Deadly Venoms. Mm-hmm. I think on my computer while I was doing the work. So I was doing that, and I also had the TV on in the background for some background noise. Mm. And so I was watching Five Deadly Venoms, and a commercial for Into the Badlands came on,
which is a good show.
Yeah, I love that show. Great martial arts, great characters, but noticing that I was still watching classic Kung Fu, and there was some martial arts on TV, and there was something else that kicked it. I can't remember. Maybe there was a movie that had martial arts involved in it. But at that moment, it was 2016, and I was surrounded for at least 1 second with different kinds of martial arts in entertainment. And I thought, there's still all kinds of Kung Fu and martial arts going on. I wonder if there are still people out there that love the classic Kung Fu films and would want to kind of relive that stuff. So I went looking for podcasts about classic Kung Fu films, and there were some that were defunct, and there weren't any that were doing anything currently. So I was like, you know what? I don't know anything about podcasting. I don't know if I can even do it, but I'm going to record something and see where it takes me. Mm-hmm. So I fired up whatever microphone I had on hand. It was an old USB microphone. I turned it on and I just started recording. And I recorded about just talking about the classic Kung Fu era, and Five Deadly Venoms is the movie that's kickstarted it all for me. And then I sat on it for like a week or two. I thought, how the hell do you do podcasting? I don't know anything about this medium. A few minutes of research, and paying for a host, and I said, you know what, I'm going to do it, put it out there, and see what kind of response I get. You know, maybe I'll get 2 downloads. Maybe it'll be me and, you know, my parents will download, and then I'll know that it's not worth it. Mm-hmm. But I did. I put it out there, and I didn't get 2 downloads. I got like 11 downloads in that first few hours. I was like, what, really?
Mm-hmm.
And then I figured, you know, maybe I'll get 50 people that will listen to it, and that'll be fun. And then we can connect and we can talk about that kind of stuff. So I did the second episode and I let that go, and the numbers kept coming, and I was having so much fun just being able to talk about Kung Fu, because there wasn't anybody else that was willing to talk about it with me. So I just let it roll, and 70 some odd episodes later, and tens of thousands of downloads, and here I am.
Yeah, man. I mean, what's your background? Do you have like any formal speaking, like any communications degrees or anything like that? Or
no, man. You've heard me talking this entire time. Do I sound like I have any kind of communications degrees?
Yeah, I mean, it's just. I heard you did a little bit of acting with your homeboy who turned into a 6-foot white guy. So.
Those are high school plays. All right, they're not looking for Shakespeare there. They're just looking for somebody who can recite the lines without messing them up.
Well, listening to the show with my ears or whatever. I mean, you're a well-spoken person or whatever. Whenever you had guests on there, when you're doing your interview, how you pose your questions and everything, I thought it was real good, real professional, unlike what you're gonna hear on here. But you know, that's why I thought you might have had some kind of background in it, or broadcasting or some shit like that.
Oh well, thanks. I appreciate that, and don't sell yourself short. I think you're very well spoken. You have a great radio voice, by the way.
Thank you very much.
But yeah, broadcasting was never my thing. I had flirted with the idea of being a radio disc jockey when I was in college, but only because you got to hang out with some really beautiful women at the radio station. But so that was all. But yeah, other than that, I think hopefully what comes across when I'm talking with people that I am interviewing is the fact that I'm genuinely interested in what they have to say. And for that time that I'm interviewing them, I am as much a fan of what we're talking about and who I'm talking to as I am a podcaster. Mm-hmm. So I don't have a radio voice. I don't try to be a radio personality. I do my research, and I have a game plan when I go into it. And then
So that's what that sounds like.
Maybe. You know, that's what my mom says anyway. But once I start talking to these guys and we get into the nitty gritty of why I'm interviewing them in the first place, that's when I let that inner geek out, and it's just having fun with my guest and shooting the shit and just being real. Hopefully it comes off that way. It's not always an easy conversation. Some guests are just not into talking, and yeah. You know, and it becomes a little bit of a chore where, you know, you might feel like you're pulling teeth, but even in those instances, I have them on for a reason, and I can't shake that geek aspect of it, and I'm just eager to see what they have to say and just to hear more. And if I could keep them for hours, I would. But
yeah,
you know, I'm so thrilled that they give me 30 minutes, an hour, whatever it is, and I've gotten to talk to some really great people.
Yeah, because I mean, usually, all right, you figured that these people have done millions of interviews or whatever, and when they come here, I mean, I try to make it like the furthest thing from their mind or whatever. Right. You know, it's like, all right, anybody can pull up your freaking Wikipedia and be like, all right, you were born here, you came from here, you did that and did this and everything. And, you know, I just want to ask you things from, a genuine curiosity and shit.
Right. Right.
Or try to at least think of something that, nobody would normally ask.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
Yeah. And that genuine conversation, I think, is more fun to listen to than anything that is, that's by the book and by the numbers. Anybody can do that, like you said. So if I can connect with that guest, and make them comfortable enough to want to connect with me, at least for that time that we're together, then that's where I think I get to really do my thing and just have some fun.
Yeah. Cool. All right, man. I appreciate the hell out of you. You made me walk down memory lane and kick over a few boxes and cans while I was down the street.
Yeah, it was great being on here. Thank you so much for having me. It was
worth the 2-year wait.
It was definitely worth the wait. It was a long time coming, and I'm glad that we got to do it. And hopefully, it won't be 2 years until we do it again.
Oh yeah, exactly. I'm gonna harass you now.
What a great time! Thank you so much.
All right, hey, before you go, tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
Yes, the social media. You can find me on Instagram at Kung Fu Drive-In Podcast. You can find me on Twitter at Kung Fu Drive-In. You can find me on the Facebook, if you still use that, Kung Fu Drive-In Podcast. You can email me, kungfudrivein@gmail.com. And now you can find me on Random Ramblings with Rob,
Boom.
The 3-hour show as I know it. So check out that episode. Rob's a great host. Great personality, and we had some fun conversations about some fun topics from long ago up to today.
And Iron Fist rules.
Iron Fist rules, Rob. That's all Iron Fist rules, all right?
All right, man. Once again, I appreciate your time, and you've been a guest on the show. The door is always open for you to come back anytime you want for whatever reason it is. Thank you so much. When Iron Fist Season 2 finally debuts, you'll have to return the favor and come on my show so we can talk about it and argue over whether or not it succeeded. Dog, we can. What is usually, 10 episodes or something like that? Something like that. All right, we can do a commentary for all 10 episodes. Me and you, we'll watch them together. We'll talk about it afterwards. We can do a whole series. All right. As painful as season 1 was, it may take me 10 years to get through all 10 episodes. I'm just telling you now. All right. Never mind then. We'll work something else out. We'll get the Cliff's notes down. Sounds good. All right, man. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you. And that was the amazing and talented Jeof Vita, host of the Kung Fu Drive-In Podcast. If you haven't heard it, I recommend that you give it a listen. Dude, I don't know. It's just something about his voice, the way he talks with his guests and everything, and he does it way better than I do. So I mean, that's a ringing endorsement, because I feel like I do like shit sometimes. But anyway, appreciate him for coming on. I've been trying to track him down for about 1.5 years, 2 years to get him on the show, and he's finally arrived. He's finally here, and he's probably thinking the same thing right now as this episode airs, because we recorded this a long time ago. And like I said, I had to shuffle the deck around, hold some things in reserve. And plus, as I record, today is Sunday, the day this episode will come out, and it is September 16th. I always talk about hating to date my shows and everything, or talk about times, because I mean, you listen to this podcast whenever you listen to it, or it'll get heard whenever it get heard. But today specifically, I have to say this because September 16th is Mrs. B. Rob's birthday. So yay. If you're hearing this, I know it's going to be belated, or I mean, if you're listening to it, on actually September 16th of 2019 or 2020 or in the future, or maybe if you're a time traveler, you went back to September 16th in another year previous to this one. If you're on that day and you happen to hear this episode, send Ms. B. Rob a shout. You can do so on Twitter at @R_chick, no K at the end. That's just CHIC. And you can follow on Instagram at Ms. MZ. ROBYN. That's Ms. Robin. So there you go. She don't like to plug her freaking social media. I just did. Broke the cardinal rule. So what? It's her birthday. We've been turning up all weekend. We last night we went to see Hannibal Buress live, and it was hilarious. I think he's better at stand up than he is in some of his movies. But yeah, enjoyed the show. Had some weird DJing going on by Tony Tram. He had visuals to go with his DJing set, and it was awkward as shit. Yeah, so happy birthday to Mrs. B Rob. Love you very much. And to date some more shit, 3 days from now, September 19th, will be the 10-year anniversary of me and Mrs. B Rob being a married couple and whatnot. So there you go. You can send out all your shout outs and well wishes on social media at the places I'm about to plug right now. At It's B Rob on Twitter. If you want to follow me and talk about professional wrestling and any other general shenanigans, that's the place you do it. That's ITSBROB. Some of you got the origin story behind the nickname B-Rob that I have, and it's on Twitter. You can look it up at It's B-Rob. That's ITSBROB. See, double plugs everywhere. Since it's Miss B-Rob's birthday, she's going to get some plugs too. She probably didn't appreciate that joke. You can follow the show on Twitter at 3R Show. That's 3R SHOW. And if you're hip and trendy, you should also be following at 3R Show 2. That's TOO. You can go to randomrobcast.com, which has been newly facelifted and whatnot. There's a whole new design and everything. I'm still working the kinks out. I got to redo my artist spotlight page that was on the previous website, because I mean, all the musical guests that's been on this show deserves a spotlight, you know, to make some good music. They have a bubbly and awesome personality. I don't mean bubbly in a derogatory sense, like they're slow or something. But I got to set that back up. Also, I have the guest page. So every guest that has been on the show, except for King Ajar, because he refused to send me a picture, that has been on this show, I have a photo of them on the guest section, and if you click on that photo, it'll link to their specific episode. So I'm still working on it. There's some guests that have been on here multiple times, and I can only put one link in the link in description. So I'm trying to figure all that out to where I can link that one picture to multiple episodes. I'll probably have to open up like another page or something, so it'll redirect you to all their episodes. So I'm still working on that, so be mindful of it. But you can always just click on one episode and you can find the whole list of all the episodes. So yeah, Random Robcast has been redesigned and redone and look all beautified now. Also, what you find on randomrobcast.com is different ways that you can help and support the show. You can find my merch store through wehavemerch.com. That's wehavemerch.com. You go to wehavemerch.com, look for the Random Rounds with Rob, and you see all my cool t-shirt, hats, and coming with some different style of merchandise soon. Now, I know only thing other than shirts and hats, I got a coaster. You can get some coasters. But I'm trying to work with my man over there and get you some cool new items that you can rock and wear. I got my Amazon links on there as normal. And they're also Patreon links. You can be a patron to the show, just like Glenn Abbott, Brandon McIntyre, King Ajar, Bob Hines, and Robert Cook. I appreciate those gentlemen very much. And if you want to do it the free way, I'm not begging for your money. It's just there if you would like to contribute. You know, it's just always an option. So the free way, the most important way that you can help support this podcast and many other podcasts that you may listen to, is to like, subscribe, share, retweet, and write reviews. 5 stars preferably. But if you do anything 4 stars and below, I would like some constructive criticism. Give me the opportunity to ignore your comments. So, yeah, on behalf of Mrs. B. Rob, today's her birthday. We about to go party as soon as the internet is connected, because our internet has been down since Wednesday. So later on this evening, this episode will be uploaded, and I'll probably be half toe to the wind plugging them orifices I was talking about earlier. I was just playing, but I'm not. And maybe somewhere in the midst of all that chaos, I might get to watch the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view this evening. The cell is red now, covered in blood, but that's par for the course. So thank you for your support. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.